Comparisons of opposites: capitalist and communist society, communal society. Compression of the substantive aspects of capitalism, understood as a project for the destruction of a living being of the human race by non-military methods, with meaningful moments of communist society, understood as traditional society as such, taking into account the experience of successful reconstruction in specific historical conditions of traditional society in the image of Soviet power and the Stalin-Leninist proletarian empire of the Soviet Union model from 1917 to 1961, no later. The period, the first step, socialism, but the highest step was not built communism. Why? Because everything that is created by human hands can be destroyed, and all the forces of advanced capitalist countries fell on the only one country of democracy of workers. As a result of sabotage, the Soviet Union was temporarily destroyed. The most important essentials are indicated and grouped by generic characters and species differences of both opposites, as well as their accidents. Characteristics that cannot be reduced to species forming differences. The supreme barrier of opposites, traditional society as such, taken as a superior genus. The poverty of traditional society, capitalism. Traditional society is in a state of deprivation of itself, experiencing complete disintegration and dehumanization. Completeness, traditional society. Total deprivation, capitalism. Society of traditions, communism. Soviet, council power. Goal setting, destruction of human subjectivity, dehumanization of man, anti-tradition, anti-preservation, judgment of subjectivity, evil. The very first philosophical definition of capitalism, Friedrich Engels, 19, capitalism is social murder. Goal setting, preserving and nurturing human subjectivity, humanizing a person. Tradition, the absence of a break in the continuity in the social collective relations of people. Fullness of subjectivity, good, righteousness, morality. The basic ideology of the minions of the world capitalist behind the scenes, social parasitism of usurers and owners of the means of production. Capitalists, financiers, globalists equals all capitalism. The goal of the satanic world behind the scenes, financial capital, the destruction of the human race by non-military methods, through hidden manipulation of people, economic exploitation, and usury, private ownership of the means of production, and private appropriation of the results of collective labor, mixing of various peoples for the selfish purposes of inheriting the land, undermining the indigenous population, and destroying the revolutionary advanced peoples first. Main idea, international idea, justice. Justice as projection of the divine idea of harmony, beauty, harmony, love into the manifest world of bodily things in reality. Social parasitism is impossible because there is no private ownership of the means of production and no private appropriation of the results of collective labor, no alienated labor, no dehumanization of men, association of primary products of producers on the basis of public ownership of the means of production. The Aryan, Russians, Ukrainians, Belarusians, the vanguard of the Soviet people, Anglo-Saxons, Celts, Germans, Scandinavians, Iranians, Northern Indians, part of the inhabitants of Latin America and North America, descendants of the Iberians, Scots, Irish, etc. Support of the revolutionary proletariat formed psychic races of revolutionaries people, the bearer of idea leading other fraternal peoples of the earth. If the Aryans do not fulfill their mission, they turn into the most dangerous to wicked engines of the satanic system. Destruction of society reduced it from the ordered state of a crystal to the flat state of an amorphous, faceless gray mass of atomized and disunited ordinary people, bourgeois. Dissociation of all collective subject of traditional society, state, community, family, clan, artil, social strata of the labor corporation, etc. Instead of social strata, classes of haves and have-nots are created, ultimately reduced to two opposite classes: the bourgeoisie, owners of the means of production, and those on whom it parasitizes, the wages slaves of capitalism, the proletariat. Intermediate groups, subclasses, do not change the essence. Presence of non-workers, destroying natural relationships between men and women, normalizing non-productive LGBT plus relationships. Volumetric harmonious ordering of society, conciliarity, hierarchy of collective subjects vertically and horizontally, social functional layers. Collective subjects equals councils or Soviets. The power of collective subjects is Soviet council power. The transition period is socialism. Classes are gradually being eliminated. There are no non-workers. Functional stratification of society. Various social functions with an increased rate of transition from one layer to another due to the release of labor and free time. Workers, labor intelligentsia, military, priestly managers, ideologists. In the highest stage of communism, classes are completely eliminated, and class differences are completely erased, and functional differences lose their political power. Political regime, instead of the state, common cause, respublica, the state, republic, common cause, as a collective subject is gradually destroyed and removed into non-actional state, non-existent. Only the political regime remains relevant. The apparatus of violence, the army, etc., the phenomenon of the lost state arises. The political regime is falsely identified with the state. Justice has nothing to be embodied in. Injustice as the basis of bourgeoisie's political regime, dictatorships of the bourgeoisies. The political regime, together with the states, is in harmony with it. The state, republic, common cause, is the form and essence, and the political regime is the matter of such a state. That is, in a separate such state, the state as a form is in an actual existing state and is in harmony with the political regime, matter. Dictatorship of the proletariat, the state, republic, common cause, as the embodiment of the idea of justice. There is no justice in the face, and there is no state. In the highest phase, communism, the state dies away. That is, dissolves in society, and the political regime becomes obsolete. There is no one to rule. The state, common cause, is a collective subject of the highest order that engages in the activity of appropriation, property. Everyone in the state is an owner of goods.